Hare Krishna everyone. I hope I'm online and you can see me. This is a Gita coaching presentation on coaching skills. We already had several presentations about introduction to coaching, qualities of a coach, about goal setting, and also about the last one was about the relationship between the coach and the coachee. So I'm just coming from a seminar that I did in one devotee's home. There was about 10-15 devotees, which was also about Gita coaching, and we gave an introduction and started with skills, started with qualities of a coach. And it was a bit different because we also have a video and we have different other things that we do, which we're limited to do here. Today we are speaking about 5 coaching skills, and these are listening, asking effective questions, then supporting, then challenging and promoting action. So these are very basic skills that every coach would use, whether a spiritual coach or business coach, with their clients. And in working with devotees and helping devotees succeed, I use these skills, and they also help as life skills, as general life skills. Like in life, it's good if you can be a good listener, especially if you can listen to your family members well, or friends. And listening and genuine listening, genuine interest, attentive listening actually builds trust. So it's a very, very important skill. Communication skill. Like we learn how to read and write, but in school we never learn how to listen. And nowadays, because of the so many training companies training people in different life skills, educational institutions are also introducing coaching skills. They are introducing also listening, which is part of the coaching skills, management skills, leadership skills. So in just regular educational institutions, some of these programs are being introduced, but it's very, very slow, and it's not adequate. There needs to be much more actually of these skills. So listening is very important in coaching, because without listening you will not be able to understand where your coach is, what are his issues, what are his problems or results he wants to achieve. And you are listening so that you can understand better where he is at, also to understand where he wants to go. So it's very important to be a good listener, and there are different ways of listening and levels of listening. We will not go so much in detail in all these because we don't have so much time. But basically, good listening will come because you are genuinely interested in other person, and it will be by your body language. The person in front of you will be able to see also whether you are listening, whether you are understanding. Very important in listening is to look for both feeling and content. So what people say, how they say it, what kind of feeling is behind the content that they are expressing to you is extremely important. Sometimes actually feeling is more important than the content, because it can tell you a lot about where the person is at. So if you want to be sure that you understand the other person, it's very important to reflect back. And when you're listening in the coaching session, as I mentioned before, you listen at least 75% of the time, or 3/4 of a session, and you talk 1/4 or 25%. So occasionally you want to be sure that you understand the other person, so you reflect back. So you say, is this what you mean? You want clarification. Clarity is very, very important in coaching. So every coach should become a master of clarity. And if nothing is if something is unclear to a coach, he should immediately inquire, and he should immediately be able to clarify, what is it that we are talking about? What do you mean? Help me understand better, and help me have this more clear. So by asking questions, you will clarify and to check whether you have understood. So reflective listening is basically reflecting back what you have heard as accurately as you can, or you can do it in your own words. But it's good to use the language of the coachee when you coach, because then they see that you follow them, and you also appreciate their language and what they say. So repeat in their own language what you have heard, and check whether you have understood the other person. There is sometimes they say it's a magical thing that happened between two people. It's called rapport. Rapport is the situation where your communications are completely successful and there is trust and mutual understanding. So in a coaching session, you want to create a safe environment for a coachee, that they can open up and speak, and that they feel understood. So you understand them, you're able to express yourself clearly, your communication is very clear and precise, and you listen to them and you try to understand. Whenever you don't understand, ask for clarification, because whatever they say is crucial to how you are going to assist them in their achieving their goals, or solving their problems, achieving results. So you want to be sure. So rapport is a situation where your coachee feels safe and they can speak openly and they feel understood. And also, I would say they feel comfortable being with you and talking with you about their lives and their life and their issues. So it's a very responsible situation where you are focused on understanding and helping the devotee who is in front of you. There is a thing that is called Indian talking stick. So American Native Indians, they actually use this when communicating. And I learned from one leadership teacher. He said that when he was teaching Indian chefs, and that they use this in their communication. So you hold a stick, like I'm going to use my pen, and I speak, and until I feel fully understood by you, I don't give you a stick. This means you have no right to talk. So you have to repeat what I told you to my satisfaction. You have to repeat what I told you to my satisfaction, then you can get a stick, and then you can speak. And I have to do the same with you. So this is called Indian talking stick. So sometimes in our courses we use this exercise to help devotees practice reflective listening, or practice understanding others and showing to the other person that I understand what you mean. And as I mentioned, I want to mention it again, that you look for feeling and the content. It's not enough only to repeat mechanically what content have you heard. So therefore your response would be, so are you saying that you feel that this person has upset you? And they would say yes, if that's the case. So feeling, address the feeling, very, very important. So these are some of the basic points about listening, and by listening and understanding, you can know more and more and more about your coachee. Now, if your coachee sends you an email, you are not listening, but you are reading. So you are listening in your head, you're repeating, you're reading. So also, as you get to know your coachees, you will be able to understand more how they express themselves and what phrases they use, and you will be able to serve them better. Even if they write something, you become so accustomed to actually understanding them that you will be able to immediately know, oh, something is happening there, and let me try to help. So these are some of the points about listening. If you have any questions, I can also answer as I'm speaking. Quickly, I can type something briefly, or we can actually agree to have a longer discussion or a longer email exchange on email, or maybe on the Facebook or Skype. So feel free to ask questions. I have finished now about listening, and we will move on to questions. Asking effective questions is also one of the key coaching skills. One coach said that if you have a right question, you don't need to give advice. So there is some coaches use more non-directive coaching, and some coaches use directive coaching. So directive coaching, you give more suggestions, advice. Non-directive coaching is sometimes called pure coaching, and you actually don't give advice. You just ask questions, you can summarize, you listen, and this is how you help your clients find their own solutions to their problems, or clarify what results they want to achieve. So questions are very powerful, and you can learn so much from coaches and from your own experience and from common sense. What questions are empowering, what questions help your coaches or clients succeed. So we want to ask questions that help. We want to ask so-called empowering questions, not disempowering questions. So we will also look into many examples of empowering questions, and also some disempowering questions. The quality of our lives depends on the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. Instead of asking why others are not perfect, it's better to ask, how can I improve? Asking why others are not perfect is a waste of time, unless we can do something about it and help them or influence them. So it's better to focus on improving ourselves, and then your circle of influence will actually expand. You may be concerned about so many things, but actually it's better to focus on something that we can do something about, or on a circle of influence. So you try to ask questions that will help, and there are so more helpful question is, what can I do about it? How can I improve? Like questions that show that you understand that you are responsible for your life. Questions that show that you are taking responsibility is very powerful questions. So what can I do about it? Like if you walk, like here in Alachua, there is a big field, and there is a courtyard, and there is a area, there is a tent, and devotees take prasadam. Sometimes there is cups and spoons on the ground, and someone may walk and say, why is this not clean? Management is not good, and like that. So, but this is a wrong question. The question that the devotee will ask is, what can I do to make this look better? So, well, you can pick it up, and it's just few feet away. There is a bin, and you can put it there, and you spend a little energy to go and wash your hands or whatever. But better question is, how can I make a difference? Instead of asking why others are not doing something right, we can ask, how can I improve things, or how can I improve myself? So you can, according to your taste and your inclination, you can find so many questions, like on the internet, or learn from coaches, or I can send you certain things that will help you actually change the quality of your life. I want to tell you a true story from the Second World War, where one man, one question saved his life. It was in Poland. Nazis came and arrested him and his family, brought him to the concentration camp, and killed his family in front of his eyes. The man was stunned, and they forced him to work, and they did experiments on his body. It was a horrible situation. But he actually, he didn't want to stay there, so he started asking himself, how can I escape? Other prisoners, they were asking, why God put me in this situation, why life put me in this situation, why these Nazis are so cruel. So these are all useless questions. He was asking the best question, how can I escape? How can I escape? He tried to find some prisoners who would actually have an alliance with him and together try to work out something to escape that concentration camp. But they were saying that don't torture yourself, don't torture your mind. It's impossible to run away from here. So, you have to, you just have to accept this and surrender and shut up. And he wouldn't buy into this. He continued to actually ask this question, how can I escape? And one day he got an idea. He saw this truck with corpses, because in gas they would kill hundreds of people in gas chambers. So he saw this truck with naked corpses, and when they were coming back from work in the evening, it was a little bit dark, so the guards were also tired. They went ahead, and so he actually took off his clothes quickly. He has very little clothes on his body, and climbed up on the truck and mixed with these corpses. And he was waiting. And after some time, after half an hour, the driver came, and of course they would unload the corpses outside of the premises of the concentration camp, outside of the fence. So he was patiently waiting quietly, and the truck unloaded everything. So it was uncomfortable being with all these corpses. Some of them already started decomposing. It was a bit scary. But he thought maybe it's worth it. And nobody noticed anything unusual in this load of corpses. So he was still very quiet, waiting until the truck completely goes away. So it took some time to actually unload everything, and that the truck goes away. But after some time, actually the truck left, and he got up. He was naked, and he ran like 20 miles to freedom, completely naked. So this question saved his life. So if this question saved his life, how much more can right questions help us in our lives and improve the quality of our lives? So we have to think about how to ask right questions. The importance of questions is stressed in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 5th verse of the 2nd chapter, where I think Shukadev Goswami congratulates Maharaj Parikshit for asking him these wonderful questions about Krishna. Srila Prabhupada gives a wonderful purport where he explains the importance of questions, and he says that only questions about Krishna can satisfy the soul. So our happiness and our welfare are actually directly connected to the questions that we ask. So therefore it's worth it, like thinking about how I can change the set of questions that I ask myself every day. And become very good, very expert in asking questions. So when you ask devotees you are coaching questions, you would usually ask them first, what would you like to speak about? What do you want? What do you want to achieve? What problem do you want to solve or result you want to achieve? What we are going to discuss today to start the session, and then you will ask always questions to get more information so that you can help them succeed, help them move forward in their life or with their goals. You would ask them questions that focus on actually also their strengths, especially if someone is negative. when somebody has like low self-confidence or low self-esteem, or they're very negative and or like how you say depressed, then I usually give them 4 questions to do like 10 answers each. What are your greatest successes in life? What are your greatest strengths? What are your greatest talents? And what are the 10 things that you are grateful for in your life? So when you give 10 answers to these questions, your life will never be the same. It really changes things because you can see that there is so much abundance in your life and that you have already so many good qualities and skills and talents that you need to use in your life. So proper questions, empowering questions help people give up being negative and becoming more friendly towards themselves. If you're not friendly with yourself, you will not be able actually to move forward and advance very nicely, because you will be always doing this horrible thing called self-sabotage. And we are experts to even use our philosophy to do self-sabotage, and we are going to talk about it in our future broadcasts when we complete our Gita coaching presentations. In 1 or 2 sessions we will start speaking about different very prominent things that come in our lives, like self-sabotage is a bad habit, so how to deal with this, we will speak about it. So questions that we ask are very, very important, and part of this is turning problems into opportunities. If you ask yourself, how can I turn this problem into an opportunity? This can help you a lot. So in our courses we do brainstorming with devotees, and somebody puts forward the problem and then we have like 50 ideas from the whole audience or all the students present in the room, and we all can see how this simple question, how can I turn this around, how can I turn this problem into an opportunity, changes everything. It changes everything. So if you face any problem, just ask, how can I turn this into this is the precise question. What this problem is an opportunity for? What this problem is an opportunity for? And then you come up with so many ideas. 10 ideas, 20 ideas. It's good to go for 20. It's sometimes a stretch, but it's very good. They recommend that 20 is a very good number to head for. So turning problems into opportunities, turning issues into goals. If you have any issue, whether it's a problem to solve or a result to achieve, you turn it actually into a goal. So this is what coaching can help you with. You take something that is seemingly a problem, but you turn it into some exciting plan, exciting goal, and it changes everything. So this is how we can use our intelligence and these skills to improve our lives, our spiritual lives, and our material existence, our material maintenance. So some of the questions I like to ask is, I think they can really help you succeed. One of them is, what do you want in your life? Do you want excuses or you want results? So I asked devotees, how many of you want excuses? And almost no one raised their hands. And I said, how many of you want results? Almost everyone raises their hand. And I said, but what you are expert in? And they start laughing and they said, we are experts in excuses. So I said, well then you have to turn this around and become expert in achieving results and giving up excuses. It's called excusitis. Some teachers call it excusitis, the disease of excusitis. So excuses will not help you. You can have so many excuses in your life, but they don't help you. It's better to focus on solutions, focus on results. Another powerful question that I got once from a friend in an email: if not now, when? If not you, who? If not now, when? If not you, who? So these questions call for taking responsibility and urgency. And this is very, very helpful. Another powerful question that you can ask devotees you coach or yourself is that if you would be a world expert on these kinds of issues, whatever issue is, what would you advise? If you would be a world expert on these issues, what would you say? And then you think. Or if you would be super intelligence, what would you do in this situation? Or if you would be a pure devotee, what would you do in this situation? So take it from that level. And it changes. I had experience coaching devotees and asking them to take a role of a world expert on their own problems, and immediately their intelligence changes. It takes some time to get accustomed to a new role, because you are in a role of a victim, you are in a role of a failure, you are in a role of somebody who is actually seeking help, who is confused. But instantaneously you can actually change the way you think about how you see this problem. One of the biggest problems about any problem is how you see the problem. If you see it as an opportunity, then this problem is not a problem anymore. So some additional intelligence can be gotten from that. I coached one a devotee, and he was telling me about his problem, and I was thinking, I'm not going to advise him about this. I think he's intelligent enough to come up with some solutions. And I said, I'm going to go out, visit the bathroom, and please write down 5 best ideas that you have how to solve this problem. And thinking that you are a world expert on these problems. And so I even got him to get up and enter the room again as a completely different person, and meeting himself, who is sitting there, and he's creating he's creating some solutions for that person who is himself. So he started writing. I went out. When I came back, he had a big smile. He said, I have something, and it's really good. So he showed me his results, and he was very happy about these solutions. And I said, just see how intelligent you are and how you can solve your own problems. So he was smiling. Then I said, it's not all. This is not all. This is not the end of the exercise. This is not the end of our work today. I said, now go back to your old self. And I want you to get the best excuse for each of these points, each of these solutions. Why you say why it cannot be done. He was a little bit taken aback. He said, well, why should I do this and how should I do this? I said, just think about this. I think you're very good at this, that you can do it. You can find these excuses. And he smiled and he said, okay, let me try. So I went out again and came back in about 5-6 minutes. When I came back, he was laughing uncontrollably. I said, what happened? So he said, I just realized how I'm sabotaging myself my whole life. So I haven't given any advice to him. I was just creating this situation where he can think and he can do things that will help him realize what's happening in his mind and how he's using or misusing his mind. And he had an amazing insight. So he found some solutions, and I saw him later. He was very happy. So this is how we can help people help themselves, just by asking the right questions. Then you can ask questions about strengths. You can ask questions about so many things, helping them work on their own issues, whether it's a problem or a result. So this is how we can help devotees. It is said that God helps those who help themselves, and we want to help devotees to help themselves. Krishna will help them. Krishna is in their heart. They also have the connection to this highest intelligence, which comes from the super soul, but they are not using it. So we also teach devotees to pray to Krishna for intelligence, like that. So this was something about questions. Now, support. Support actually should come before questions, but this is where we are at now. Support is very important. There is a saying, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. So support, the person standing in front of you, your coachee, he has to be convinced that you care about him or her, that you are really concerned, that you have their best interest at heart. Then they will be willing to allow you to serve them and to reveal enough so that the work will be very significant and deep and effective. So you should sincerely want to help the other devotee. I have this slogan, helping devotees succeed. And we want devotees to succeed in different areas. It's not just spiritual life and sadhana, but it's also other things. We want them to have everything in place so that they can practice spiritual life well. Whether it's health, or it's relationships, or it's finances, or it's their service, whatever it is, we want to help them so that they can peacefully chant Hare Krishna and practice their spiritual life. So there is so many ways you can help support. You can provide support. You can be very encouraging. You can recognize their talents. You can recognize their strengths. You can highlight their abilities, skills. You can work together to discover opportunities and options, different possibilities, because you want them to succeed. You can send them motivational emails occasionally. You can show interest, ask them how are you doing if they are not contacting you for a long time. You can give them gifts, show affection also. Although it is said, they say that coach should not get involved emotionally with their clients. That's true. There should be some healthy distance. But as devotees, we can show some symptoms of affection for devotees, and because also there they will also more open to this kind of work and assistance. But we shouldn't get into like very deep emotional relationships or very intimate relationships. There has to be a caution about this. So there are many other ways. You can be creative how you offer support, show your concern, be interested, show that interest in them, and be very happy to serve them, to help them succeed. If you help devotees succeed, there is no way that Krishna will not be pleased with you, because he says that one who serves my devotees is very dear to me. So this is service to devotees. We help them succeed in different areas. Coaching helps devotees succeed. So that's why we are convinced that this service is pleasing to Krishna. Helps them grow in Krishna consciousness, grow in their relationship with Krishna, with other devotees, with people outside. Help them become clear about what they are doing, find their dharma, their calling in Krishna consciousness. So there is so many benefits. And also we can pray for devotees. This is also supportive. We can chant extra rounds for devotees. This is also supportive. And they can even feel it, and Krishna will inspire them to do more for their spiritual lives. When they know there is someone somewhere in the world who is very supportive, helping me, chanting extra rounds for me, so that I can succeed, and Krishna will give me more strength, and Krishna will be pleased and give me more strength and determination to chant and to do devotional service. Mahatma Prabhu told me that one devotee wrote to him and said that they are practicing the thing that is called interpersonal prayer, where they pray for each other. So praying for each other is a very wonderful Vaishnava exchange, and it's a very wonderful way to support devotees. Because we know the ultimate support is Krishna. So if we do things for other devotees, even if we are at a distance in another continent, to please Krishna, how we are concerned about devotees, we want them to succeed, we want them to be happy in Krishna consciousness, then he will be even more merciful, I believe, and give them his blessings and give them strength and give them the ability to go through what they need to go through in order to get purified and develop love for him. So this is about support for devotees. I'll just check if there is any questions. The question is, can we chant for others? And my question is yes. Okay, so definitely, and you can try. My experience in chanting for others is that they also want to chant for you. Then they become inspired to chant for you. So it's a mutual thing. Another question is, for what things should we pray for other devotees? You're welcome. Well, the best is to see what they need at this particular moment or ask them. Like devotees ask me to pray for specific things. Like today someone asked me to pray so that they can serve devotees and in this way please Krishna. So they will tell you what you should pray for. Sometimes we ask devotees, can you please pray for me so that I can do this or I can do that for Krishna. One devotee is saying that in my Vedic chanting course it was important to add the words, I'm not taking his or her karma when chanting for others. But he says we can chant for others. Okay. So these are prayer is a very simple way to support others. I remember I've heard that Mother Teresa, when she was doing her projects and wanted to organize all these orphanages or all these support institutions, she actually phoned people in Europe and in other places and asked them to pray, because she believed that it's very, very helpful when others pray for you, and so that you can succeed in serving people and pleasing God. So we can be creative. There are maybe many other ways to support others. For some people, supportive emails are very inspiring when you send them, or send them a picture, or send them some video. Nowadays on the internet you can share so many things, wonderful things, that can really, or you can support others by making a video like this and then speaking about things that are encouraging or that help devotees succeed. You can make a 10-minute video on YouTube and just say, my friends, I'm really happy to have you as my friends. I wish you all the best. And you can call me anytime and things like that. So there is so many ways. There is a question, by praying for other devotees, are we sharing our desires with Krishna, or are we asking Krishna to do what we wish? Well, if the desire is Krishna conscious, it also can be personal. So you desire something good for other devotees. To me, this is completely okay. Specifically. When I pray, I try to pray very specifically. And in the beginning it's general, because you don't know people so well. But as you get to know them, then, it can become more specific. Oh, well, there is a question, isn't Krishna already helping another person? Yes, he is helping, but our prayer is also valuable, and Krishna takes it into consideration. Krishna, I have heard that Krishna appreciates more our prayers for others than for ourselves. So, because then we are showing maturity, that, we are becoming compassionate, we are becoming selfless, and we are interested in others, not only in ourselves. So, although Krishna is helping everyone all the time, but our specific prayer for a specific devotee is helping and it's pleasing to Krishna. At least this is my understanding. Okay, so now this is about support, being supportive to a devotee you are trying to assist as a coach or as a spiritual coach. The fourth skill that I would like to speak about tonight is challenging. Now, in order for you to be able to challenge anyone or try to induce them to stretch, to go over their limits, to expand their limits, there has to be a foundation of a trusting relationship. So therefore, supportive attitude, encouraging attitude, respectful attitude come before the challenge. Understanding that devotee comes before the challenge. Showing genuine interest in that devotee comes before the challenge. We can challenge only basically with their permission, but there is so much in that trust bank account, I would say, which is in the relationship, that then you can move on and say something like that, and you can say, so what are you going to do about it, or why don't you try this, or maybe take this risk, and things like that. So challenging should be done very respectfully and more or less with the permission of a devotee that we are trying to help to stretch. Without stretching, there is no growing. So we have to stretch, we have to take on new challenges, fresh challenges, and this will help us grow in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we have to take on risks. So we have to, occasionally, whether we want it or not, we have to do that. But if we develop it as a practice, then Krishna, then any test that we have to pass will be easier, because we are already consciously making an effort to pass different tests and to accept the challenge and to become stretched. So sometimes the devotee you are coaching, they would say that oh, I can't do this, but it would be good if I could. And then this is where you can help as a coach. Like, for example, if devotee is reluctant to give a class, but he has been asked already a few times because people think, or the authorities or other devotees think, that you would be able to give a good class, so why don't you try and give class? And they're very shy, or they have lack of confidence, or they're scared. So this is where you can help them accept that challenge and understand. Explain to them how this will be so beneficial for you if you do this. So you can say, well, I know you have to do it, but I am with you. I will be praying for your success. I'll be praying for you that you are able to go through this, and you're not alone. So this might help to accept the challenge. And sometimes when people have different paradigms or concepts about what needs to be done and how they think, and have different like habits, bad habits, then you can challenge them by saying, so how does this help you, or will this help you? There is a saying, if you continue doing what you are doing, you will continue getting what you are getting. But that's also a challenge in one sense, because basically we are saying that if you don't change, then you will continue getting same results, or you will continue to suffer. So it's important to understand where you are, and that you need to do something about your situation if you want to improve your life. So for any forward movement, any change, any personal revolution, I would say, you need to actually challenge. Srila Prabhupada said in one letter that the leaders should create always an atmosphere of fresh challenge, so the devotees will rise up and meet it voluntarily. So similarly in coaching, it's the same principle. Srila Prabhupada gave it in his letter, that we need to occasionally challenge devotees, that, okay, what are you going to do about this? If the devotee comes and says, oh, I have a difficulty in this relationship, so you can say, well, what are you going to do about it? And then it's also like a challenge. And they will be challenged by others also, so you can help them go through this as a coach. But especially if you see potential in them and then see some laziness is there or some fear, then you want to help them to stretch. So this is a very valuable, very important part of coaching. Srila Prabhupada would challenge his disciples like anything. Like when there was a Chaitanya Charitamrita marathon, finished the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita in 2 months, it was impossible, or so they thought. And then Srila Prabhupada actually got them to do this. There was a very, very slight delay, maybe 1 day or half a day, or I don't remember exactly. It's described in the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, but he got them to do the impossible thing. He challenged them like anything. And Srila Prabhupada used to say that the impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. And there is many quotes where Srila Prabhupada says, everything is possible by Krishna's mercy. Everything is possible by Vaishnava's mercy. Everything is possible if you do sacrifice and if you are determined. And so we believe that everything is possible by Krishna's mercy. But we have to connect. We have to connect with Him. And we have to be sure that He wants things done. There is nothing more powerful than something that Krishna wants done, because it will happen. Like Krishna wanted this Krishna consciousness movement to spread all over the world, and it is still spreading since Srila Prabhupada started it. And it will continue to spread for the next 9,500 years, and it will be more and more prominent. So you can sometimes in your personal life, you can see that Krishna wants you to do something, and then it happens. You make an effort, you work hard, but at the same time you have this feeling that this has to happen, this is very important. Just like my feeling about my service is that every ISKCON temple needs a system of spiritual care and guidance, support and guidance, like a counselor system or a mentoring system or a coaching system or a spiritual guidance system. You can call it whatever you like, facilitator system, and that this will help build communities and help every devotee succeed. The need is so clear. So Krishna wants this done, and therefore some of us will dedicate and work that this happens. There is so much to do. So if you feel that Krishna wants something done, like some devotees feel strongly that Krishna and Prabhupada still they want that books have to be distributed all over the world all the time. So they are focusing on that. They are doing this. Like Vaisheshika Prabhu in California, he is a minister of book distribution. So he is training devotees how to distribute books. And their temple is distributing books in ISKCON Silicon Valley, in San Jose. So, and whatever other mission or a project you want to do, if you feel that Krishna wants this done and Prabhupada has confirmed it, then you can go for it, full speed and full power, and then you will be successful. So you will never be afraid if anybody challenges you, if you challenge yourself every single day. You can look at the mirror and say, look, you have to do something today. You have to stretch yourself today. You have to go over limits here today. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Move. Tasmat tvam utishta yashola basva. Krishna said to Arjuna, wake up, get up, stand, fight. So we have to wake up. This life is like battle of Kurukshetra, and do something. If we challenge ourselves regularly, then for us any challenge wouldn't be a problem from anybody else. We will not become defensive, we will not become evasive, but we will accept it as Krishna's mercy, as Krishna's opportunity to grow, to advance, to get purified, and to do something valuable for Srila Prabhupada and his mission. So in that sense, a challenge that Srila Prabhupada gave us as a principle is very important in spiritual coaching or Gita coaching. And the last skill I want to teach you, coaching skill, is promoting action. The whole purpose of coaching is that the devotee you are assisting takes some action to make a change in their lives, to give up a bad habit, to develop a good habit, to achieve a certain goal which might seem difficult to achieve, to build a relationship, many things. So they have to take action. So at the end of every coaching session there is an action plan, and there is a commitment, and there is accountability. So as a spiritual coach or a Gita coach, you help devotees to actually be accountable to their own goals, which they set for Krishna and for their service and for their lives. And you can even ask them to report to you. I have devotees reporting to me about different things from different parts of the world. Those who report frequently achieve better results. Because somehow, by being accountable to someone who is holding you accountable to your own goals, you are more focused, you are more active, you are more proactive, and you are more effective, and you are more productive. This is somehow how it works. So therefore, you will create an action plan and a system for accountability where they report to you once a week, twice a week, or every day if some devotees want to report every day, and or they can report to some family member or a friend if they cannot report to you, but there should be some accountability. So in taking action, promoting action, very important is accountability. Of course, it's important, deadline is important, like in goal setting. By when you are going to do this? Okay, by Thursday. Okay, so please let me know how it's going, whether you have done it, how can I help? There has to be a deadline. There has to be a clarity, very clear plan of action. What are you going to do first? What are you going to do second? So the more specific you are, the more likely it is that you will achieve your goals and that your action will be effective, that it will bring results. Of course, we know that results depend on Krishna, but we need to make our effort to achieve results. So, an action brings results. You take action and see what happens. You make a sincere effort, and if Krishna wants, then he will give certain results. Sometimes Krishna is testing us. There is no results. So it may mean that either we are not trying in a proper way, or he doesn't want this thing done. So we have to be able somehow to discriminate and see what exactly I'm supposed to do now. Shall I stop, or shall I continue persistently pushing and trying to achieve something that doesn't work? Or I should just not waste my energy and time and move on to something else. With the help of others, with the help of your coach, with the help of your intelligence and intuition, you can actually conclude what is the best course of action. One difference between us and the other teachings of success in the mundane realm is that for us, there is one of the most important factors of action is the super soul within our hearts. And Krishna is the overseer and permitter. So he will help us achieve results, give us intelligence, give us energy, but we have to make an effort. And also very important in action is desire. If you don't have a desire to do something, it will be very difficult to achieve results. You may even achieve results, but if you are not motivated, there is no desire. So how are you going to do anything? It will be a very difficult thing. So we need to find a motivation to do something. Like some devotees have to do a boring course and learning how, like software works or something. And you may think this is very boring, but if you see the reward, that if I learn this, I will be able to do this service, then it's not boring anymore. It's become an interesting thing because you are going to learn the Windows or whatever, because it will allow you to expand your service. So if you see the reward behind something that is seemingly unpleasant or boring, then the inspiration and motivation is there. Very wonderful question I'm getting here online is how to know when Krishna doesn't want something done, how to know the difference. Well, there is a 3-point check Sadhu, Shastra, Guru, and actually 4-point check, Chaitya Guru, or the Super Soul in the heart. So combination of consulting the scriptures, consulting the sadhus, and consulting the guru if you have your spiritual master. I mean, you can have Shiksha Gurus, which is also similar to sadhus. Sadhus can be your Shiksha Gurus, or your Diksha Guru you can consult if you have. And what your intuition tells you, combination of these things should give you the ability to come to a proper conclusion, what is the best course of action and what will be pleasing to Krishna. But it's important to listen to devotees, it's important to look into the scriptures, and it's important to listen to also our conscience or the intuition or the super soul in the heart. Okay, so we have just about 5 minutes to complete this broadcast, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. If you have any more questions, there was few questions along the way. If you have any more questions, I will be here for another 4 minutes, and I'm getting a comment here that I learned the tradition of chanting on a mala 108 times a day for 40 days. Is this a traditional practice? I don't know, to be honest. What we have learned from Srila Prabhupada is to chant 16 rounds. This is 16 times 108 Maha Mantras, minimum every single day. You can chant more than that, but this is a minimum if you are initiated or if you are aspiring for initiation. And for us, this is our own ISKCON tradition and that we follow. But I don't know about 40 days. I would say every day should be a great effort for chanting, improving our chanting, improving the attention, the effort, the sincerity, the mood in which we chant. And then every day our ability to chant will increase and our taste for chanting will increase. So while I'm waiting for any more comments or questions, I want to mention that what else we will be discussing in these broadcasts over the next weeks or Mondays. We will be discussing about limiting beliefs, turning problems into opportunities some more. We'll be discussing about self-sabotage, about taking responsibility, about spiritual self-confidence, and topics similar to these ones. Things that are practical, that help. Oh yes. I think all my data is on my page where these videos have been stored, but I can give you email here again, akrura@pamho.net, and I'm also on the Facebook, I'm also on Skype. So if you want to talk to me, we can also talk on Skype for free, Akrura D. But if you go to my page where these broadcasts are stored, there is all the details about my website and about other internet resources or places where we can connect there. Yeah. Okay, Maurizio, thank you very much. So we will have several more broadcasts on these topics, and I'll thank you also. I'm getting some thank yous here. Kremlin 69, Maurizio, thank you so much. And here also we are doing Gita coaching courses for devotees, sometimes in their homes, sometimes one-to-one, and we are also doing some audios. If you join me as a friend on the Facebook, you can have access to the radio programs, or it's called Reality Check, that we created with Mahatma Prabhu. It's a dialogue We speak about different issues that devotees face in a very, very practical way. So you have to go deeper because these were previous posts. Occasionally I post them again. We speak about taking responsibility, confidence, self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, possibility thinking, and things like that. So you can also listen to that. And also I have a blog, Gita Coaching. If you type on Google, you will be able to access the blog website, and you can all these links are there on the page on Krishna.com. And there is also a forum called Helping Devotees Succeed on Krishna.com. I also publish an electronic newsletter called Helping Devotees Succeed on Pamho, but whether you're on Pamho or not, it doesn't matter. You can subscribe, send me your email, I'll put you on my list and you will receive it 2-3 times a month. It has tips on success, spiritual quotes, inspirational stories, useful links, and so some more resources for your success. So it's 9 o'clock now. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I wish you all success during the next week, and see you next week, Monday, 8 o'clock again. Thank you. Hare Krishna.